I just remember being at a point in my life when I turned 30 and I just thought, like, what have I done with my life? Like, I should be further ahead than what I am now. Failed relationship after failed relationship, thinking, when am I gonna finally get it right? Am I ever capable of having a relationship? One time I remember going out for one drink midday on a Saturday afternoon, and before I knew it, I'd spent $1,100 and it was Sunday and I was still awake, and I was just thinking, like, this can't go on, Ben. You can't continue to do this. Now, I made this video because I feel like I've wasted my 20s. Even though some people in a similar situation may think that it's not a waste, I personally think myself that it is a waste, and I think that had I spent my 20s in a more, should we say, productive way, my 30s would be much better than what they are now. But I'm gonna share with you why I think if you have wasted your 20s, it's a little bit of a paradox, because it's kind of led me on the path to where I am now. And had I not gone down that route in my 20s, I might not be on this path now where I'm driven, goal searching, fulfillment looking. To be honest, it's a bit of a paradox, because had I not spent my early 20s the way I did, I might not be spending my early 30s the way I am at the moment, and I'll explain all in this video. Okay, so I'm going to take you back to when I was 18 years of age. I was a person who felt that they had a point to prove. I used to go out on the weekends a lot. I used to take drugs. I used to go to the gym. I took steroids, and I just felt that I had a point to prove to the world. So I would get up to no good, and I would just put this mask on that I just wanted people to see that I was the big tough guy. And in fact, I wasn't a tough guy at all. I was a very lost guy. Now, I just remember really wanting to start a martial arts journey, and when I was 24, I joined a kickboxing gym, and I soon figured out that I couldn't fight. In the past, I thought that I could fight, and I thought I was a tough guy. As soon as I went to the gym, I got my ass handed to me. I actually got taught how to really fight. It was an eye-opener for me. I think within about a year, I had my first amateur kickboxing fight. I was actually sparring with one of the boys in the gym, and he kicked my elbow and he broke his ankle. And I actually filled in for him against this guy called Sean George, who is quite an accomplished bare knuckle boxer in the UK. And the first round, I think it was the first round, or it might be in the second round. Anyway, he came out, gave me a cross to the body, and I was winded and I was down. I wasn't getting up. So that was my first introduction of what a real fight is like. From there, I had another 4 kickboxing fights, and I used to train quite regularly. I used to train about 4 or 5 times a week. I was quite dedicated. However, I was going out on the weekends and I was still using drugs. I was eating bad food, I was smoking, and I was not anywhere near as fit as I should have been. And I actually remember one time, this is very stupid, but every fight we used to have, we used to plan to go out and there would be drugs involved. So we would have a fight, go out, party with our friends, and take things like cocaine. And I remember I ended up taking it the night before my fight, and I stayed awake the whole night. Not a good idea. Next day I went to weigh-in. I hadn't slept all night, I hadn't eaten, and I fought in a sports hall in front of about 300 people, and I got my ass absolutely handed to me. And it was the worst experience I've ever been through, getting beat up in front of all them people, knowing you hadn't slept and you'd been on it all night. So that was probably an indication right there and then that I needed to stop doing what I was doing. At the age of 28, I got a phone call off my friend, and he asked me if I wanted to move to Belgium to work, as we both work as electricians. And it was just an instant yes for me. All this time I'd been living in the UK, in the city that I was born in, and I was always looking for a way out. I always knew that I wanted to do better for myself, and I wanted to experience new things in life. So I moved to Belgium, and I lived there for 4 months. We worked on site, we traveled Europe on the weekends. I eventually worked in Denmark as well. It was that point that I met some Australian and Irish guys in Denmark on the building site. And they said to me that I should go try Australia. So I applied for my visa and I flew to Australia. Now, I was around about 29 when I landed in Australia. And I remember getting off the plane and I remember looking around me and I just thought, wow, like there's so much money around. People my age are doing much better than what I am at the moment. So it was at that point I decided that I wanted to make a better life for myself. Now, I stopped drinking when I was 30, I'm 34 now. Over the last 4 years, I've been on a path of self-development. Now, I'm gonna tell you, if you are behind in life at the moment, maybe you're in your 20s and you've wasted them, maybe you've just turned 30, or maybe you're in your mid-30s. But it's a bit of a paradox, okay? If you'd spent your 20s behaving, having kids, getting married, having a mortgage, I know plenty of guys who've gone off the rails at the age of 30 because they haven't experienced all these things in life and they want to experience them. So the way I look at it is this way. I'm a slow starter. I messed up in my 20s. I did have a few experiences, but more importantly, I experienced all the things that I don't want to experience anymore. And I know for sure that I won't go back to them because I've absolutely exhausted partying. My friend says to me that we've got a PhD in getting on it, which isn't something to be proud of. So look at it this way. If you are behind in life and you've just woken up, you can be sure that you won't make those mistakes again, which means you are absolutely deadly at this age. I am deadly at this age. I don't waste any time. I know what I want. I'm focus driven. I don't drink alcohol. I won't drink it again. I know what I want and I'm focused. And if we work on ourselves every single day, we go to the gym, we eat right, we keep learning, we keep trying new things, there's no way that we won't succeed. It's absolutely impossible. It's just basic maths. You just need to keep doing the work over and over and over. So I wanted to make this video because if you are feeling left behind, you may think that it's too late, why bother? It's not gonna work. That's completely untrue. If you put your head down now, you can overlap these guys that are ahead of you. Trust me.